Hey guys, how's it going? My name's the Breph, and welcome to another challenge video. Today I'm asking a simple question: can you beat Pokémon PEARL with only a shuppet? The last one was only meant to be a bit of fun, so this one, yeah, I don't think it's going to be anywhere near as enjoyable. It may even be impossible. Why? Well, let's take a look at the move pool, and yeah, it isn't nice. It isn't nice at all. Despite being able to learn some really decent TMs, the majority of them go against us slightly by being special attack. Shuppet's stats clearly favour the physical attacking moves, closely followed by the special ones, true, but just look at the other ones. Yeah, I don't know how enjoyable this is going to be for me, but I will try and make it fun for you. Just a few more things to go through before we get into this, and there were so many correct responses to last week's challenge theme that I couldn't possibly shout them all out. Well done to anyone who spots their comment here, that means you got it right, although a special shout out to TurnTech Testified for being the first. Yes, last week's theme was quite clearly a Queen reference, but also a shout out to Benjamin Cooper. Yes, Benjamin correctly guessed that I fooled all of you, and I did leave the tower without taking a fossil after all. Before we go anywhere else, guys, I am getting dangerously close to the first 1,000 subscribers, which blows my fucking mind. I'm in need of ideas for a 1k sub special, so if you do have any ideas for that little thing, leave it in the comments and make sure to mention it's for the 1k special so I don't mistake it for a standard challenge suggestion. More on this at the end of the video though. A quick chat about the rules and we can begin. The rules are a lot like me in that they're dull, simple and repetitive. Shuppet only in battle, items are banned and TM usage is allowed as ever. That was easy enough, eh? Now, let's get right into this. The game begins and we choose the female character, naming ourselves something that I compulsively put in every video. The inventive name of Breph. We meet our rival and give him the name of Cole. Together we embark on a journey to end all journeys, trying to capture one of the Lake Trio. Instead we find ourselves facing sexual assault at the hands of a couple of Starly trying to insert their beaks into our nether regions. We open up the conveniently placed briefcase and get access to our shuppet. Later in the lab we nickname it York. Yes, there is another theme to this video, so the first person to correctly guess it in the comments bags himself a shout out in the next one. With all the fuss around being tasked to defeat every trainer in the region off and out of the way, we meander nicely into our first gym fight. The rock type leader of Aubra City. I started this little fight a little later than I usually would like to, but it was a necessary evil. Nightshade is not a move you'll ever see on my movesets. Damage done equal to our level ain't exactly great. But that said, it was our most powerful move at this point. After a couple of tries, with Screech not playing ball, we claim the first badge. Oh, I do enjoy the Gen 4 games, but if you ask me, there are too many mandatory battles. From rival fights to galactic barriers, progress through the Sinnoh games feels slow at times. So I think it's safe to say that I wasn't exactly thrilled when I had to fight Commander Mars. Perugly having feint attack proved to be an issue, but with a little bit of good planning, we win using Will-O-Wisp and Knockoff to get rid of the Held Berry and burn the fat feline away. That opens up the door to Gardenia's grass type gym. I can't say this gym worried me, but it turned out to be even easier than expected. Stab Shadow Ball seems to be powerful enough to get us the win. What comes next is another one of those BS mandatory fights, this time with that Jupiter lass. I hate Skuntank. Night Slash is a move that I need to be afraid of. More often than not, it hits hard. This time, however, she opts for Poison Gas. A bit of a mistake for her, because just like that, we're done here. Up now is the first of a few captures that I'll talk about. Our first HM slave turns out to be a Bibarel, who we name Robin. Is this a clue? I don't know, you tell me. Maylene is up next, and her fighting types are another one of those not so frightening group of fights. Between Meditite having part psychic type and Lucario's strongest move being one that doesn't affect us, I feel good about the fight, and with good reason too. Badge 3 is down. Badge 4 belongs to the water type using Crasher Wake. His team has always been one that I respect. It covers its weaknesses somewhat well, and that is respectable. Floatzel having Pursuit is covering for us, and although it hits, it doesn't really do enough. No sooner have I walked in, I'm walking out successful. Heading up to deliver the old charm to some coffin dodger, we're rewarded with the HM for Surf, which reminds me, we haven't fought Fantina yet. But before we do, we catch another member of the brigade, a Psyduck who we affectionately name Berber. The ghost type gym is next, and I like this fight. It took me a few tries. As everyone should know, it turns out I'm walking on a double-edged sword by being ghost type myself here. I fall victim to that a couple of times, and fortunately for us, on the winning attempt, we overcome potential confusion damage which had cost us on previous attempts. But every single previous battle pales in comparison to the fight we have before us next, the Steel type Gym Byron. We do a couple of upgrades to our moveset now, and that includes the move Thunderbolt and Psychic. None of these will help us here, but they will do for the future, and it's best to get it out of the way. I say they don't help, but the special defense drops actually do help us. Tangle with Bastiodon. Badge 6 done, only 2 left to go. I decided to take this time to head up towards Candice. I figured that flying is easier to do when the story allows it, and that means finding Snowpoint first. Plus, while we're here, why not try for the badge? I began the attempt at level 57, and as you can tell, it didn't go too well for me. At this point I gave up and raced around the lakes, dealing with the various commanders as I go. We start with Saturn, and where this fight on previous occasions has caused me more than my fair share of issues, by upgrading our moveset, we help ease the difficulty and in fact eliminate it all entirely. From there we move on to Mars yet again, and this turned into a nervy fight. Toxic and Faint Attack proved very nearly to be our undoing, but thank God Perugly went down when it did. If it hadn't, there's no way we would have survived. And now it's time to drag our ass right the way back up to Snowpoint. It's time to take on Candice. Once Sneasel falls, a bomb of snow shows itself to be the real issue here. Time after time we failed, but thank God for this run. Once it falls, we only need to outspeed Medicham, and a single Shadow Ball is all we need from there. Thank God. Our next port of call is Galactic HQ, where we engage in our first battle with Cyrus. 2 out of 3 members of his team are weak to Thunderbolt, so I think it goes without saying that right now he isn't an issue. The future? Well, that remains to be seen. The egg we'd been carrying abruptly hatches along our journey, revealing a Happiny inside. A Happiny that from now on we shall refer to as Shearer. But now, guess where that pesky future leads us to? Well, after heading somewhere else in the building to release the 3 lake Pokemon, we're tasked with trekking up to the top of Mount Coronet, where we witness that arsewipe of a man Cyrus summoning Palkia. An issue that leads not so nicely into a few fights that I hate with a passion. Failure on either one of these 2 fights leads into having to watch the whole damn cutscene again, and do the fights, both fights, again. And this turned out to be something I would get very familiar with. The double battle with Mars and Jupiter is awful, just awful. Not only is the fight itself bloody brutal, but it involved many attempts. Completing that gives us access to another Cyrus fight, but this one is like 4 times worse. The issue is being strong enough to sustain damage from that Poxy Weavile. Night Slash from that thing can do me pretty badly from really high health, and it does so over and over. Which means off I go on a nasty grind, just to beat Cyrus. I had hoped not to have to go too high, but this wasn't as simple as that. The higher my level, the weirder the AI behaved, but it isn't stupid, and it still knew exactly how to beat me. At level 89 of all bloody levels, we defeat Cyrus. Thank the heavens that we don't have to do that shit again. Now that we've surpassed him, we gain the option to deal with Palkia as we see fit. How do we see fit to do so? Well, by opting for the peaceful solution of enslaving the legendary creature to our service eternally, being kind enough to administer the nickname of Nistelrooy onto the legend itself. Now that's all over and done with, we head off towards the final gym fight, Volkner. We are so far over leveled that it's just become a joke at this point, comfortably sweeping aside the 8th gym and heading on towards the Pokemon League. While travelling that way, we capture the final member of our team, a Flappy Bird Pelipper who we named Kane. All done with that, we head up onto the league. But I don't want to do this unceremoniously, and that means doing a little bit of grinding first. But now, it's rival time. Cole steps up with some particular weaknesses on his team. 2 of them are weak to Thunderbolt, 3 of them are weak to Psychic, and the only one without a weakness is Snorlax, who gets removed a little too easily, I'm sure, for his liking. With that done, Cole is no longer an issue. I head off to grind up and begin the run through the Elite Four. Aaron, the bug type user, is up first. Most of his team prove that a little bit of diversity in the move pool can go a long way. Diversity that he doesn't have. Besides Drapion, they all go down far too easily. Breph is up second, and our ground types aren't a team that I have any sort of weakness for. But what I do have is a determination to succeed, a strong special attacking move pool, and, well, that, as they say, is that. Flint's up next, and fortunately for us, his Infernape is weak to Psychic, and that's all I can really say about him, to be honest. He has a few members of the team that can resist us, but given that being the only issue or so, we're moving on. I think it's fair to say that being weak in general is bad. Being weak to special attacks is worse when fighting Psychic type users, even with a type advantage. Lucian's team caused me some issues, so I equipped the Quick Claw as my held item. I needed it too, to be honest. On about the 8th attempt or so, we successfully knock him aside, but holy shit, it was only by an unthinkable margin. And then there was one, Cynthia. Her team being diverse poses an issue, and my god did this take a number of attempts, an hour or so of them. The level of RNG needed here is beyond me. On this attempt, we managed to dispatch Spiritomb, Roserade, Gastrodon and Milotic without taking a single point of damage. If you ask me, that's a miracle in its own right. This whole damn run was one. Given the time taken, persistence was key. Surviving Lucario with high HP was shocking, but not as shocking as when we knock out a Garchomp, having survived with only 34 HP, thanks to Quick Claw no less. With that, this challenge is over, and feeling generous, I allow Shuppet to evolve into a well-deserved Bayonet. All things said and done, York, Shearer, Robin, Berber, Nistoroy and Kane all take their places in the Hall of Fame, and the credits roll. At the start of this challenge, I asked a simple question. Can you beat Pokémon PEARL with only a Shuppet? The answer, surprisingly to me at least, is yes, you can. This challenge looked impossible at the beginning, but to my surprise, Shuppet pulled through magically. The main reason I chose Gen 4 is because with Ghost type moves being physical prior to this, I wanted a little bit of an extra challenge. If you guys want to give this one a go, then be my guest. It wasn't fun for a large portion of time, but if you really wanted to do a Shuppet only run, maybe go and try it in Gen 3 where it would be a hell of a lot easier. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. As I mentioned earlier, I'm getting really close to the 1000 subscriber mark, and it really does shock me that so many people care to watch my videos. One man sitting and chatting shit over a Pokemon video. I am so thankful to all of you for that, and now I'm calling on you to give me your ideas for a little special. I'll do whatever. Q&A, fun challenge, hard challenge, anything except a face reveal. Please leave your suggestions in the comment, making sure to state that it is for the 1K video. Please also feel free to comment with any other challenges you might like to see me take on in the future. Like and subscribe for more content like this, and please, join me next time, where I ask the question, can you beat Pokemon Emerald with only a Baltoy? Thanks again guys, stay safe out there, and I'll see you all in the next one.